Kol hashoneh halachot b'chol yom. The two mitzvot of the day today is the 8th of Mar Cheshvan. As we go out with our mitzvot, first mitzvah is going to be mitzvah number 65, which is Isur Deoraita, to cause any harm, physical or verbal, to a widow or an orphan. Okay, that's mitzvah 65. And then there is mitzvah Aseh, mitzvah 66, Halavat al-Ani. We have a law on the lending money to the poor, or we will discuss what ani really. I mean, ani means the poor or even a rich people. So, Bezrat Hashem, today's mitzvot are sponsored. Nunu Nishmat Yecheskel Netanel Alav Shalom Ben Harav Avishai Halevi Shlita. Bezrat Hashem, Ruach Hashem Tanachaynu. Bezrat Hashem also Ruach Hashem Tanachaynu B'Ganeden, and also Refuah Shlema Kol HaMisrael V'Cholam Lechaya Bat Leah. If you wish to sponsor, please reach out. Okay, let's go. Mitzvah 65. The שנמנעו מהקפיד מעשה או אפילו בדיבור על היתומים והאלמנות. We are prohibited from causing any stress or pressure on orphans or widows or orphans. שנאמר, as it says over there in the pasuk in Shmot 22nd chapter 21st pasuk, כל אלמנה ויתום לא תענון. It says open in the Torah that any widow and or orphans, you're not allowed to cause them harm or any suffering, pain. אבל כל מסעו ומתנו של אדם עמהם יהיה בנחת ובחסד ובחמלה. A person, when he's dealing with this individual specifically, has to be very careful. Not like America today. America, they're promoting this beautiful thing called equality. Everybody is equal. Yeah, the Torah tells you equality doesn't mean everybody is equal. And the society that just pushes everything, promotes everybody is equal, they will forsake one very important thing. And there is, when you're dealing with a widow or an orphan, you put the book of equality aside. There is no book of equality aside when you're dealing with them. And you're supposed to deal with them with extra caution and more mercy and more rachamim and chesed. Mishoshay mitzvah, the foundation of this mitzvah, מה שכתבתי בסמוך בעניין הגר, as we already explained in reference to a ger yesterday's mitzvot, where you're prohibited from causing harm to a ger. Mitzvah 64, it's Isur Deoraita to cause them harm, as we see over there. Mitzvah 63 yesterday. That because he has because לפי שאלו הן תשושי כוח, just like a ger, these individuals are also weak, meaning they don't have nobody to defend them. שאין להם מי שיטעון טענתם בכל נפש. There is nobody who really cares about a widow or an orphan. Yeah, you'll have organizations that the Baruch Hashem, they're doing the fundraising and helping and everything, but really when the push comes to shove, I don't see anybody running around and looking for orphans and widows. They're actually waiting for them to come. And again, you can blame them because how they're going to know. But Lechoira, the rabbi says over here that it has to be somebody who's doing it with a full heart. And one of the way is that that organizations that are, this is the message to all organizations, if you are B'ezrat Hashem, took on yourself to help orphans or widows, don't tell me it's the only ones that are in your books or make a certain gdarim. Go out and find and search. Anytime you hear somebody became a yatom and an orphan, I'm sure they do it, reach out, but it has to be with full heart. The rabbi says here, these individuals, most people don't care. So we know that when there's let's say a husband of a woman, how much he cares for her, he'll do anything. But now she's a widow, so that she doesn't have that special protection. So too children. Most children are forsaken. But if you have a society that they take away children from parents, so it's a haram. It's haram. Sometimes today you have children who are with fathers or parents are alive and they're orphans. There's such a concept, right? Unfortunately. The whole point is to awaken this mercy within you, within your soul, to be a gracious person and be thoughtful of these individuals. The whole purpose of the mitzvah is to be straight in our deeds and concentrate, pay attention when you're interacting. As we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually is going to be demanding of it. So you would not mistreat a son. A boy comes to yeshiva if you know he has a parent, right? You wouldn't mistreat him. You'd be very careful. So too, you have to know this orphan that comes to the Knesset, to the shul or whatever in your proper place. You have to know that he has a father. The father is Hashem. He's right in front of you. He's standing in front of you and caring for this boy, and you have to show that you know that there's Hashem. To have mercy on them and to feel for their pain. So over there, you because they are lacking of this, the father figure, right? Somebody who will protect them. You have to make sure to give them upper hand in every argument. If there is a dispute between them and the litigant, they win. The litigants are not over there. A person can just come and say whatever he wants and claim from the orphans. Usually, the problem starts when the father dies, and the orphans have $1 million, and now all of a sudden the debt collectors are coming.
Yeah, it makes sense, no?
Debt collectors are coming. So there's a lot of laws involved. How can a person collect the debt from this orphans? Right? So let's say there's a field, from which field they're allowed to collect. Always from the ziburit, the amount of because the orphans, the orphans are orphans, so they get kept to the best. The Torah tells us even if the king's children, the princesses, the father died, and they're still somchim al shulchan avihem. What is called an orphan? Until what age is the person considered orphan that you have to be very careful to deal with him with the white silk gloves? Anybody know? Any age? So that's right. The law is somchin al shulchan avihem. So long as they are totally 100% still relying on their father's table, meaning they're nene. That's what they. So the father's dead now. Now they're orphans. We're not kidding. Now, obviously, somebody's married at 30, 40, 50 years old, and then his father passed away. If his father had him at the young age of 50, now he's 50. The father died at 100. What are you going to call him now? He's orphan. He's not his father's anymore. He's not depending on his father. Right? So, but so long as the person, so it doesn't matter if he's a child of a king. Doesn't matter. As long as the son was depending on his father and his father died, now he is considered to be orphan, and this is what we're talking about. Widow, obviously, until she gets married. Until she gets remarried, she's considered to be a widow. I know a widow. She was a widow for 50 years. Before she was neftar. She still has a din of a widow for 50, 60 years. Regardless. A widow, until she gets married, she's a widow, and you have to be very careful how you're dealing with her. And don't go into a business transaction with a widow, specifically. Why? Unless you're a person of that nature that we spoke last night in the Mitzvoth Aval Chesed, that you're always wrong. If you're in the nature of I'm always wrong, then you should do business with a widow. If you're not, stay away from it. What is the business of a widow? If you're looking to rent a home, you want to rent a home. The worst case scenario is you rent a home and you have small children. And these widows, and especially in New York over there, people live on top of each other, right? So all of a sudden now you get complaints. You come to the interview, your children are rowdy. You say no. So the lady rents up the apartment to you, and all of a sudden they're rowdy, they're jumping. What do you think? Your children are always going to be quiet? Yeah? You think that at 2, 3 years old you still control them. Wait till 7, till 8, till 9, till 15. All of a sudden the walls are breaking, the floors are breaking, and everything, all the rowdiness. You have to be very careful. The person will be paying for that. Right? Don't rent a home from a widow. Don't rent a home, because then you're going to have a problem. Unless, again, you're always in the wrong. You believe you're always in the wrong. And there is no possibility of harming this person in any way, even inadvertently. You have to be careful, because you'll be paying for it. So, B'ezrat Hashem, this is the halacha of not harming a widow or an orphan. And this mitzvah obviously is shayach to everybody. Even in the spaceship, if you're living there, regardless, males or females. By the way, how are they going to bury people in spaceships? People die. What do they do?
Just throw them out.
Just throw them out.
The space, yeah.
Are you okay? How you throw out a person in the spaceship?
They do this.
What?
They do this already.
They do this already? Yeah. A body has to be buried, decomposing. How are they going to decompose? There's no worms up in space, are there?
No.
So the person is just roaming around, flying around in space. And how is he going to have kapara? He's nefkama.
Why not?
Well, think about it for a second. Why yes? The whole person, right? The whole year takes to decompose the body. The neshama is standing over here, and the worms are eating him and eating him and eating him. He gets purified. He goes to Shamayim.
There's no kapara until decomposure.
Of course not. He cannot be. What's his name? Fully rectified until there's full decomposure, unless he's a tzaddik. So you're telling me all the people who die in spaceship, they're all tzaddikim.
They're all tzaddikim.
The bodies are preserved, and that's it. You go up there in Shamayim, you see full bodies, no problem.
I mean, it's cold. Space is
What?
Space is really cold, so that body is preserved.
Preserved, yeah. The Shama jumps out and they're preserved. They have no breath. Rahman al-Islam. So now you see, not so pashut to go fly into the space. Maybe it's a sur. What happens if a person dies there? Unless he dies coming in, like we had one already.
Bury somebody on the moon, what are you going to do?
What?
You can bury somebody on the moon?
You can't. What's going to help?
I don't know. Why not?
You can't bury somebody in the moon.
Why? It'll freeze.
The body's not going to decompose anyway.
Right.
So what's the point?
It's not possible in space.
It's all a joke. Just to let you know. This whole business of flying, I don't believe it's true anyway. Okay. Now, mitzvah samech vav. Okay. So mitzvah 66, giving out loans. להלוות לעני כהשגת יעד כפי מה שצריך לו. A person is obligated to give out loans to especially a poor person. The Torah talks about a poor person, but really doesn't mean poor person. We're learning already, Baruch Hashem, as we everybody's here advanced. Every night we learn mitzvah aval chesed, this mitzvah of loaning, who comes first and everything. Over there, talking about even a rich man is ani, he's considered to be poor because now he needs a loan. So according to your abilities, that's what you're obligated to give. Or the need of the poor person. In order to make it easier for the poor person, you're giving him out a loan so that he's going to come out of the rut. וזאת המצווה של הלוואה היא יותר חזקה ומחויבת ממצוות נתינת הצדקה. The loan mitzvah, as we said before, the mitzvah of loan is stronger. Mitzvah number 66 is greater than giving charity. You hear what's going on here? Mitzvah number 66 is greater than giving charity. You're not here at 7 o'clock at night?
No.
Why?
What?
7 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay.
No?
Look into it.
You're going to look into it?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Didn't say no.
We have a new promotion. It's going to be called, we're opening up a new yeshiva, Tzaddik. It's called Yeshivat Shalom Bayit. Yeshivat Shalom Bayit. Everybody tells me, Rabbi, I'm not coming to learn because of Shalom Bayit.
Which one has the answer?
So,
you say to the Bayit,
yeah.
Shalom Bayit.
Shalom Bayit, right.
Then you're good.
So we're gonna call this Yeshivat Shalom Bayit, and it's gonna be basically specifically telling people, if you come to learn, you're gonna have Shalom Bayit. And we're gonna tell a woman, throw your husbands out of the house to have Shalom Bayit. Otherwise, you're gonna have more problems. Yeah. And we're gonna charge you. It's gonna be tuition, $500 a month. And if you come to all the shiurim of the day of the yeshiva, free. If you come to all the shiurim, yeah, Jonathan, you hear the deal? Mm-hmm. It's going to be like this. If you come just for 1 hour during the day, and choose any hour of the day, it's $200 a week. Or $500 a month. You hear the yeshiva tuition? However, if you come to all of our shiurim, the whole day, starting from 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we end up at 8:30, 9:30, we finish the learning, you're not here the whole day. Talking about the whole, altogether we learn how many? 1 hour with you in the afternoon, Gemara. Then we have 1 hour of Abat Chesed, 1 hour of Gemara, that's 3 hours. Then in the morning we have 1 hour and a half. So we talk about 4.5 hours a day. If you come 4.5 hours a day to all the 5 hours, whatever it is, or during the day that we learn together with Rabim, it's going to be free tuition. Free tuition. But if you choose any other time, it's $200 a week or $500 a month. Whatever it is. You understand what we're talking about here? This is called Yeshivat Shalom Bayit in Hollywood. This is the new yeshiva. Who's the Rosh Yeshiva? I don't know. But the teacher, the talker is Avram Sofer. We don't know who the Rosh Yeshiva yet. We will decide. But the talker is going to be, But the talker is going to be Avraham Rahamim Chaim Sofer. And by the way, all the checks are going to be going to congregations. So deductible donations. Yeshivat Shalom Bayit. Anyway, so 7 to 8 we have, not 7 to 8 now, it's after Arvit. About an hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour, we're learning a sefer called Abat Chesed. Abat Chesed is a sefer that's written down by Hafez Chaim. Baruch Hashem, somebody donated a lot of books over here. And Baruch Hashem, everyone learns. In this yeshiva, by the way, you not just learn Shalom Bayit, you also learn how to read Torah, you also learn how to bid midayek and tefillah, and we also do Tikkun Chatzot in the morning, Bezat Hashem. So we do a lot of, we accomplish many things during this yeshiva. It's called Yeshivat Shalom Bayit for a reason. You learn in this yeshiva, you're going to have the best Shalom Bayit in the world. We hope your wife understands. שמי שנתגלה ונודע דחוקו בין בני אדם וגילה פניו לשאול מהן אין דחקו אפילו כמו שעדיין לא בא לאותה בושה ויראה כנס בה. So again, we said, why is it better to do loans than charity? Charity, as we know, a person is very embarrassed. When he asks for charity, it's an embarrassment. But so what's the best way to do it in order to take away the embarrassment? A loan. You give him a loan. Most best in the world is you give him a loan if you can't afford what he really needs. Let's say he needs $50,000 for business. What's the purpose of the loan? No, people usually do not borrow to live, to stay alive. People want to borrow to do business. To do business. So the purpose of loans is to make sure he doesn't become a pauper. It's to make sure he doesn't become drowned in the world. So you give him a loan to take him out or help him out to grow his business. So therefore, loans are more important than tzedakah. Because people will not be embarrassed when they take it from you. They're not embarrassed. Sign a contract. I'm borrowing from you $50,000. This is what I need. And don't be one of those that says how much money you need for the loan. Meaning you have enough money in the bank account. The guy says he give you a rap sheet. He needs $50,000, right? He gives you a whole menu. This is what we need. So this expense, that expense. And you're a wise guy. And some people have that a tendency. They have all the money. No, I'll give you 50%. So haram, if the guy asks you for 100, you give him 50,000. He should have lied to you, right? No. If you have an ability, if you learn of the B'Chavetz Chaim to give a loan, you have no permission to be saying to him, I'm not going to give you the full amount. No permission. It's Avirah. It's actually an Avirah. If you have in your bank account $50,000, now we're talking about obviously giving out loans, you have to make sure it's guaranteed. You have to be a banker. This is not a freebie. When you give out a loan, take a collateral, take a guarantee, make sure the money is going to be paid. Not just give out loans and then to go around the whole world and say, I gave a loan and the guy ran away from me. Don't give out loans that you're going to lose, or there's the slightest of a chance you're going to lose. Be very cautious. Over time, he's going to teach us all that. Mitzvah number 66, give out loans with caution. Give out a loan with caution. But you are not patur from giving out loans because you got burned once or you got burned 1,000 times. Just because you got burned 1,000 times doesn't mean, don't forget, the money is not yours. According to Chafetz Chaim, you're supposed to have money set aside like tzedakah. Just like you set tzedakah 20% a month from your net profit, right? And then you give it out to poor people who ever comes, or you go look and give out in organizations. You get email from Chesed Fund. This organization, just organization, Chacham over here, behavior is Baruch Hashem running a Shidduchim organization. You have tzedakah, you give. That's not, you're not patur. Same thing, loans. If you give out loans, it's not if you give out loans. That's the mistake people understand. It's you must give out a loan. Mitzvah 66 is an obligation to go out and give a loan. And you have to be a banker when you give out a loan, just like the banker. So that's why we understand the purpose of this mitzvah is also to be merciful and to do kindness at all times. So all the rules of who follows where, which one comes first, which comes last, okay? It's all discussed later as we are learning. It's a Masechet Ketuvot, but we right now are learning in the Sefer Ahavat Chesed. We'll come over here at night, 7 to 8, or after Arvit. Right now it's like 6:45 to 7:45 or 7:40, whatever we finish. We discuss this. In our yeshiva, by the way, we look word for word. Everybody reads together, and we learn again dikduk, and we learn how to read and how to pronounce it and how to translate. So it's Yeshiva Shalom Bayit. We welcome everybody there. B'ezrat Hashem, hopefully to see you every day. Make a lot of money, guys, without any headache.